Imagine this. You are standing on the edge of an abyss. No matter how hard you try, you can never escape the invisible vortex that controls everything. It dictates your emotions, your choices, even your fate. This overwhelming sense of helplessness is something you feel every day, as if the entire world is pressing down on you. You know there's a truth behind this, one you cannot escape, subtly shaping your entire life. You've probably asked yourself, why am I always in pain? Why can't I experience true freedom? The answers to these questions are not as simple as you might think. You see yourself making decisions, battling internal conflicts, feeling like you're caught in an endless cycle of struggle that never seems to resolve. You've been chasing something, but you don't quite understand. You aren't really searching for freedom. You're running from pain and pretending it doesn't exist. So why are we trapped in suffering? Why do we always instinctively avoid confronting our deepest fears and feelings? These questions continue to haunt you, and perhaps you feel like you have no answer. Haven't you ever wondered why this constant pain seems inescapable, repeating itself over and over again? If you think about it, you'll realize what we chase as freedom is often a freedom controlled by suffering. Haven't you ever wondered why it feels like we are never truly satisfied? We constantly seek more success, more recognition, more material possessions. But every time we get what we thought we needed, we still feel empty inside. This is the trap of desire, which comes from our inner void, something that never seems to be filled. And that emptiness, according to Schopenhauer, is the suffering of existence. This is the paradox. You want freedom, but you're running from suffering. You think you've escaped pain, but you're being controlled by it. So how can we truly find freedom from suffering? Today, we will explore this question through Schopenhauer's philosophy. Schopenhauer believed that suffering is an inherent part of life and almost impossible to escape. Yet, through understanding and embracing suffering, we can achieve true freedom. Are you ready to accept this unsettling truth and explore the real meaning of pain? You might think that suffering's just an occasional nuisance, an unfortunate circumstance or setback in life. Perhaps you believe that it's only temporary, and that once it's over, life will return to peace. But Schopenhauer's philosophy teaches us that suffering is not just a momentary inconvenience. It is the very essence of existence. It is something every living being must face, something that shapes the core of our lives. For Schopenhauer, suffering is part of our fundamental structure. It comes from our deepest existence. He saw suffering as the basic framework of life. Every being constantly faces desire, need, and an unfillable void. This endless pursuit is what makes it impossible to escape suffering. We think that if we fulfill our desires, we will find happiness. But each time one desire is fulfilled, a new one arises, leaving us never truly satisfied. This endless need and desire makes suffering a part of existence, almost inescapable. Have you ever wondered, why do you always feel incomplete? Why are you always yearning for more? More accomplishments, more wealth, more recognition. Each time you get something, that inner emptiness still remains. Why do you long for these things, but never feel truly fulfilled? This is the trap of desire, which originates from an internal void, and according to Schopenhauer, it is the pain of existence. You chase freedom, but it is hidden behind suffering. You might think that you need to eliminate suffering to live a peaceful life, but Schopenhauer's view tells us that avoiding suffering doesn't grant you freedom. Instead, it keeps you trapped in a cycle of confusion and unfulfillment. You are not avoiding suffering itself, but the real you. You're avoiding the deeper parts of your being that you don't want to face. This is what sets Schopenhauer's philosophy apart from many other philosophers. Like Nietzsche and Sartre, Schopenhauer also believed that suffering is part of our existence, but unlike others, he didn't think it should be avoided or suppressed. Instead, facing suffering is the only way to reach true freedom. Do you realize that it is this suffering that gives you the possibility to transcend it? And if you keep running from it, it will only deepen until it controls every part of you. You have been running from suffering, but it is actually the key to your liberation. Are you willing to face it? You might ask, if suffering is unavoidable, why is it so invisible? Why does it seem to be everywhere, yet silently shape my life? This is a profound philosophical question. It's not just about personal emotional experience. It also concerns the entire structure of society, culture, and human existence. Suffering doesn't present itself as an obvious difficulty. Instead, it shapes your behavior, emotions, beliefs, and life path subtly. It seeps into every detail of your life, even influencing your social relationships and sense of self. Have you ever thought about how suffering actually reinforces itself in ways you don't even notice? It leads you to unconsciously seek more external satisfaction to fill that inner wound. You keep reaching out for things you don't truly need: material possessions, social approval, external validation. Yet these actions never truly heal you, and in fact, they confuse you even more. You think that these short-term satisfactions will save you, but you haven't realized that they only deepen the emptiness. Suffering is not directly violent. It doesn't always appear as something that hits you over the head. Instead, it's slow and continuous, like water eroding stone. It subtly changes your patterns of behavior and shapes your life in a way that you cannot see. It affects how you view the world, how you see yourself, and even how you relate to others. You begin to feel that you are in an endless pursuit of something, yet never truly experiencing peace or freedom. Every time you reach for another success, you only feel a new wave of anxiety and insecurity. You think you are moving forward, but you are still lost in the same cycle. This is the terrifying aspect of invisible suffering. It influences your concept of happiness and shapes your expectations of life, yet you often cannot detect it. When you cannot see it, you can never break free from the cycle. If you don't awaken to this truth, you will only fall deeper into the trap. The suffering that you refuse to face will continue to grow and control you from within. By now, you may have begun to understand that suffering is not just an inconvenience, but an inherent part of life. However, the key to breaking free from this cage of suffering is not to escape it, but to face it. Schopenhauer's philosophy encourages us to embrace suffering, to stop running away from it. True freedom, according to Schopenhauer, is not found in avoiding suffering, but in accepting it and understanding its deeper purpose. But how do you break free from this self-imposed prison? How do you escape the endless cycle of desire and pain? Let's start by reflecting on something. Why have you been running away from pain all your life? We are taught that pain is something to avoid, something that is bad, something that makes us weak. But true strength comes from facing pain, not running from it. True freedom comes from accepting pain, from understanding that it is an integral part of life. You can never be free if you are constantly fighting against the inevitable. Freedom comes when you stop trying to eliminate pain and instead begin to learn from it. Every pain you experience is an opportunity to grow, to break free from the illusion that happiness is something outside of you. The beginning of rebellion starts when you stop resisting and start accepting. You must confront the deepest parts of yourself, the parts you've been avoiding for so long. It's not easy, but it is necessary. Through facing the pain and fear within, you can finally break free. Are you ready to face that fear? As you've journeyed through the depths of suffering, you may have begun to see something clearer. Freedom is not the absence of pain, but the ability to face it, to understand it, and to grow beyond it. This realization is the ultimate truth. True freedom comes from accepting suffering as part of your life. This truth will shatter your previous understanding of happiness and freedom. You once thought that freedom was the absence of struggle, but now you understand that it is found in the strength to embrace struggle. Suffering is not your enemy. It is your teacher, leading you to a higher level of self-awareness, wisdom, and ultimately, freedom. The final insight is this: freedom comes from within. When you stop trying to escape the reality of your life, when you accept the pain and discomfort as a part of your journey, you realize that you are no longer a victim. You are the creator of your own freedom. This is the ultimate awakening, the moment when you realize that the only true freedom lies in embracing all that you are, including your pain, your struggles, and your imperfections. Are you ready to step into this new life, to see yourself for who you truly are, and to live from a place of inner freedom? This is the moment of your true awakening.